Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Hello all you lovely students, and a big hello to the lecturers as well. It's been a really long time since I've seen any of you. So some of you that are watching this might recognise who I am. I've taught some of you guys before, but there's many of you who I've not met before. So I'm just going to introduce myself quickly and why I'm here chatting to you guys today as well. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Sam. And first and foremost, I am a Coventry University graduate. I graduated from Coventry in 2017, so 3 years ago, and it's safe to say a lot has happened in that time. For those of you that are interested in kind of my job and where I work, I have a split role at the moment. So part of my job is I am clinical lead specialist for neuro. And then the other part of my job is I'm a specialist physiotherapist in mental health. So a little bit of a niche area. As well as being a clinician, I'm quite a busy person. So outside of being a clinician, I also am doing a research project with the National Institute of Health Research, and I'm studying the use of physiotherapy in eating disorders. It's a real kind of passion project of mine. Very much a niche area within mental health, eating disorders, and it's very much a new developing area for us physiotherapists, but it's really exciting project to be a part of, and really exciting to be leading on that. As well as being a clinician and doing bits of research, as I said, I've taught at Coventry University, so some of you will recognise me. I've been involved with teaching at Cov Uni ever since I graduated, really. Every year I generally come back and do a lecture on mental health, and then I've got involved in teaching some of the modules as well. So some of you guys might have seen me in and around university as well. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. And I've been asked to come and have a little bit of a chat with you guys today, just to firstly welcome you guys back to your third year, and also to offer just a few words of advice from someone who's been through the process of studying at Coventry University and come out the other side, and someone who has been working as a clinician and working through COVID, because let's be honest, we can't have a conversation without mentioning COVID. So yeah, I'll have a few words on COVID as well for you guys too. So yeah, let's get into it. So first and foremost, I just want to say welcome back to your third and final year at Coventry University. I remember coming back in for my third year and feeling really daunted, and suddenly feeling very afraid that in a year's time I'll be graduated and I'm expected to know what I'm doing. But the amazing thing about this career and working within healthcare, it is an ever-growing and changing environment, so you can never stop learning. There's always something new to discover, or there's that patient that just doesn't present the same as everyone else. That's a real learning curve for you guys. So yeah, don't be expected to know everything by the end of your third year. Just enjoy the process and get everything that you can from it. One thing I would say going into your third year, something that served me really well, is become a little bit of a yes person. That's one thing I definitely am. I will say yes to any opportunities that come up, all within my boundaries and my limits, so I don't burn out. But I love saying yes to new and exciting projects and getting involved and trying new things. So yeah, in this year, just get the most that you can out of it. Spend as much time with your peers as you can, because in a year's time you'll all be moving back home and it'll be a big change. So yeah, just get everything that you can from it. In terms of your dissertation, say yes to helping each other out, because let's be honest, everyone's going to need participants for their projects. You're going to need participants for your project. So help each other out, get involved in each other's projects, see what other people are doing. And it gives you a little idea and a little flavour of research and evidence-based practice ready for when you're a clinician. Because I remember when I left uni, I thought I'd leave the research stuff behind. Here I am 3 years later with a research project. I never thought that would happen. So yeah, get involved with research and kind of start to understand it now, because it'll serve you well in the long stead. And as I say, help each other out and get involved in each other's projects. It's always really lovely to help out. And you'll find that you bribe each other with cakes and treats, and you'll do what you can just to get as many participants as possible. Another note about dissertation that I would say is pick a topic that is of interest to you or something that you're passionate about. My dissertation was on mental health, and it's a real passion area for me, mental health. So yeah, pick a dissertation project that's of interest for you, because you spend so much time and you put in so much effort into the project. It's really important that you actually like the project. Otherwise, it's going to feel a really long and really tough few months, which I know a few people in my year group did. They just picked a project because they thought it was going to be easy. But the fact that they had no interest in it whatsoever actually made it really hard work for them. So yeah, pick a project that you like and help each other out. I'd say they're the main things about dissertation. With regards to placements, I know placements have been challenging and continue to be challenging for universities because of COVID and the ever-changing environment that is healthcare at the moment. But if you guys go out on a placement, one thing I would say is, with relation to COVID, don't let it scare you. There's really good measures in place now to keep patients safe, to keep staff safe as well as patients. So, you know, as long as you follow the guidelines in terms of PPE and the advice that your educator and your team give you, you should be safe. You should be fine. Also as well, one thing I would say is, you know, when you go on placement, get everything you can from it. Say yes to going into that clinic and observing it. Say yes to watching that surgery if you can, as long as you don't pass out. But yeah, say yes to everything that you can. It's all a learning experience. And some of the experiences I had as a student on placement are still some of my favourite moments that I have to date. You know, some of those patients that I met on placement are still some of my favourite patients that I still think about now and wonder how they're doing and how their families are doing. Some of the surgeries I got to see were so eye-opening and so incredible, and it's an amazing opportunity for you to explore and try different areas of physio. The reason I got into mental health was because I had a student placement in mental health, and it really opened my eyes to that area of healthcare. And it's an area I absolutely fell in love with, and it's an area that I'm still working in now, still driving to improve, and doing lots of research and lots of involvement in. So yeah, enjoy those placements. And even if it's a placement where you know it's not for you, you're only there for a few weeks, just get what you can from it, and you know it's not for you. Like I say, placements is a good chance to pick and choose what you do and don't like in terms of where you want your career to go. One thing I would say as well, we've had students out, you know, throughout COVID. I've had maybe 5 or 6 students throughout the whole process. One thing I would say is, don't expect to know everything in relation to COVID. And to be honest, your educator and your team also won't know everything about COVID. The guidelines change daily. You know, what we're learning about the condition changes on a daily and weekly basis. So please don't be alarmed if, you know, the guidelines and the rules change while you're out on placement, or if your educator seems unsure at any point, because let's be honest, none of us have experienced this before. It's completely new to all of us, and it's a massive learning curve for all of us in terms of you guys as students, us guys as qualified, as physio managers, you know, all that sort of stuff. It's a massive learning curve for everyone. So don't let it panic you, and don't expect the norm. Things are really changeable. Things are very flexible at the moment in the NHS. You know, wards might not be running as they normally do. So, you know, if staff seem a little bit unsure about new guidelines and the new rules that we're following, it's not because they're incompetent, it's because the guidelines have changed so many times. It's been a massive learning curve for all of us. But yeah, I hope you guys have stayed safe throughout the whole COVID thing. I do really feel for you guys as students. It's had a massive impact on your learning experience and your uni experience. So on the one hand, you know, it's such a shame that things have changed so drastically for you guys. But on the flip side, COVID has actually taught us a lot of really good things. It's taught us that the NHS can change really quickly and it can work really well. You know, services have been completely torn apart and rebuilt because of COVID. And normally in the NHS that would take years to happen. But that's happened in a matter of days and weeks because of COVID, because it had to. So yeah, while COVID has caused a lot of issues for a lot of people, it's given us an opportunity and a chance to try new things, new ways of working, and some of them are working really well. And so these new styles of working are likely to stay for a long, long time, which for you guys as students is really exciting, because you guys get to be at the forefront of these new style services. And I think one thing is definitely for certain, the NHS and the kind of the public as a whole has kind of realised our potential as physiotherapists. You know, we can treat people when they're really acutely unwell, and then in terms of their longer term rehab, we're kind of at the forefront of that as well. So it's really exciting. As I say, you guys as students are really at the forefront of that. Your student placements are going to be in these new styles of services, and you guys get to be the future leaders of the NHS. So, as I say, when you go out on placement, it's really, really exciting. And just get embedded in the team and really get everything that you can from it. As I say, even as a qualified clinician now, every day is still a learning curve, still a learning experience for me. So yeah, as students, I think it's really exciting for you guys. Yes, it's daunting, I'm not going to lie. I remember going into a new placement and a new team, and it's scary. And particularly with COVID, you don't know what to expect and you don't know how the service is running. But yeah, just get what you can from it. Really get embedded into the team, and just listen to the guidance and the advice from the managers and the physio team, because their role ultimately is to keep you safe. So as long as you follow those rules in terms of PPE, you guys will be absolutely fine. And as I say, you guys are at the forefront of this future long-term rehab that is going to be needed. And so yeah, some of these placements that you'll have, particularly in your third year, might be places that you apply to for jobs as your Band 5 jobs when you qualify. So, you know, really get involved in the team, really learn as much as you can from it. And it's almost like a little tester for you guys to think, do I want to work here? Do I want this style of, you know, this new style of working? You know, physios now are doing like the telemedicine, so it's all over the telephone or it's over videos, which is a very new style of working. Us physios traditionally, we're very hands-on people. That's one thing I've learnt with COVID. I have no sense of personal space, and I want a patient in front of me and I need to be able to touch them to know what's going on. But with COVID, we've not been able to. So we've really had to think on our feet and trial these video consultations and telephone consultations, and amazingly it works really, really well. Not for all patients. Some patients you do still need to get in and you need them in front of you, but for some patients it actually works really, really well. So you guys will get to experience that, which, like I say, is new, and it's exciting, and you guys can be part of auditing that process. And you know, like, I always welcome, when I have students, I always welcome their ideas. So look, come on, you've worked in our team now for the last 4 or 5 weeks. What's working well? What isn't? What can we change? You know, I always say, if I'm not a good educator, please tell me. I want to be the best I can for you. So I will try and change my educator style to fit the student, what their learning needs are and their learning style. And I hope that you guys have educators that are like that too. But yeah, don't be afraid to say, actually, why don't we try and do this in a new way? And, you know, come forward with those suggestions, because what I've found at the moment, the NHS and the teams are really open to these new opportunities, because COVID's just blown everything out the water and we're rebuilding it. Everyone's very open and very receptive to what is working and what isn't. And there's lots of conversations at the moment within teams in the NHS of what, from the new style of working, what are we going to keep, what are we not going to keep. So yeah, when you go out on your placements this year, please be vocal. Question the norm, question how things are. If it's working, great, really promote it, really tell them that. If things aren't working and you notice patients aren't engaging very well or staff are finding it really challenging, then also be vocal with that, because as I say, people are very vocal and very open and receptive at the moment because things have changed so much. Throughout COVID, it has been utterly crazy. It's been really turbulent, but everything's kind of starting to settle down now, and everywhere's kind of getting ready for the normal winter pressures and potential second wave for COVID. Fingers crossed, I'm praying that we don't, but everywhere's kind of making plans just in case, which is really nice to know, because first time round, the first wave of COVID, we weren't prepared, and so I think that's why it felt so kind of tense and quite anxious out in the NHS, but now a lot of places are preparing for a potential second wave, and I'd rather we be too prepared and not need all this extra PPE, rather than not being prepared at all and ignoring a potential second wave. So yeah, with regards to COVID, please don't worry. As I say, just listen to the advice of your team and wear your PPE. Always wear your PPE. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's hot and bothered. I always feel really hot and bothered and just fed up by the end of the day. But that's everyone. We're not used to wearing these masks every day. For me, I find it really impacts on my communication. I'm quite an animated person. And so I find the minute I've got a mask on and I'm smiling at a patient, all of a sudden I think, they can't see that I'm smiling. So you'll find you'll become a lot more vocal. Rather than demonstrating things and using kind of that non-verbal communication, such as your facial expressions, you'll find you'll be a lot more verbal. And a few of my colleagues and my friends have said the same. We're all kind of praising our patients or telling them when things aren't right, rather than trying to smile or looking a bit puzzled. We're all a lot more vocal with each other and with our patients. So you'll find you'll develop new styles of working with patients. But again, that's what your placements are for, to grow, develop. And I always think placements are really, really good for watching other clinicians, and I always used to take little bits of each clinician that I liked, and I've tried to turn myself into what I would want a physio to be. And as I say, I've took little traits that I've seen in other physios that I really like, their communication style, their ways of working. I'm like, actually, I really like that. And I kind of take that for my own toolbox. So yeah, I've mentioned dissertation, I've mentioned placements and COVID. We couldn't really avoid COVID, could we? Let's be honest. But yeah, and one of the other things I would say is just enjoy this final year. It's a really exciting time at the moment. Not only because it's your third year and everything's kind of coming to an end at uni, but also it's exciting kind of out in the workplace at the moment, as I say, because COVID's given everything a big kick up the bum. It's all really exciting and it's all open to change, and lots of areas are kind of creating new roles for therapists, and you're hearing of wards now that are very much therapy-led rather than doctor-led. One of the wards in my hospital is run purely by physio and OT, and it's purely a therapy-led ward, and it's really exciting. So there's lots of new styles of working coming out, which, as I say, for you guys coming to that end of your uni journey and about to step into the qualified journey, it's really, really exciting for you. And the great thing with your Band 5 rotations is you get to try a little bit of everything. Most of you, I'm guessing, will go into the Band 5 junior rotations, which is what most people do and what most of my year did. So yeah, just really enjoy them. Like I said, there were some of my rotations I knew weren't for me, but you're only there for a short time and you still learn a lot from it. Even if you know your long-term career is not going to be in that area, you're still going to learn a lot. And then you'll have those rotations that will just click and they really excite you and they inspire you, and you think, yeah, this is for me. This is where I want to work. This is the team I want to stay in. And then you'll find that you'll be furiously looking for static jobs in that area, whether they're band 5 or band 6. So yeah, it's really, really exciting. So yeah, that's all I have to say really. As I say, because I've been through this journey the same as you, just a couple of years ago, I remember how daunting it is. So the lecturers all have my contact details, so if you guys want any advice, or if, you know, my working area is an interest of yours, feel free to get in touch and we can talk further. As I say, my working areas are predominantly mental health, neuro, and then my research areas in eating disorders as well. So yeah, busy person, but it's really exciting. And I'm still, even as a qualified, very much a yes person, which is why I'm a physio and a researcher and do little bits of lecturing, because it keeps it really exciting. And the amazing thing is about working in healthcare, no 2 days are the same. The same patient can present differently on 2 separate occasions. So yeah, that's the exciting thing about this job. You'll never get bored. There's always new things to learn, new conditions to learn. Like I say, that patient that just doesn't present in the classic way, so it's a massive learning curve. You know, there's so many different directions that you can take your career. So yeah, just take every opportunity that you can and just carve a career that you want. I think that's the other thing that I would say as well. Don't be afraid to go against the norm, which is something I definitely have done. As I say, within 3 years of uni to be, you know, at band 7 level and researcher and lecturer, you know, the areas I work in and that I'm researching are very niche and weird and wonderful areas of physiotherapy. They're new and they're developing areas. So yeah, don't be afraid to carve out a career path that you want. And I think that's the really exciting thing with healthcare, and particularly physio. There's so many clinical options for you if you want to be a clinician. There's so many areas that you can work in, and you've got time to grow and develop and know where you want to go. But if you want to be a non-clinical person, there's again so many options. You know, some people that I know started off as physios and they're now kind of ward managers. You're hearing of matrons that are from a therapy background, discharge facilitators, discharge managers. You know, people go down pure research, they go down quality improvement areas. Some people know that they want to be an educator and be a lecturer. That for them is really exciting to teach and to develop that future generation. So yeah, that's the really exciting thing about physio. There are endless amounts of options. You know, some people that I know have started off in human physio and now work with animals, work with horses, work with dogs, things like that. You know, some people that I know work purely in technology and developing digital therapy options, developing those apps for video consultations and developing apps for home exercise plans and things like that. So it's a really exciting time to be in healthcare, and it's really exciting to be a physio. And so when you guys finish this year, be really proud of that, and be really proud of your journey to have come through here. Not only just to have, you know, studied at Cov, but also to come through this global pandemic that has changed the world so much. I think if you can, you know, study a really challenging degree and study through a global pandemic and work through a global pandemic, you know, I think you guys are going to be amazingly resilient, and you're going to have so many transferable skills that you can take forward into your new career, whatever that may look like. So yeah, just enjoy every single moment of this year. And as I say, if there's anything that you guys want from me, I might be teaching some of you guys this year, so you might see me again. But yeah, all the lecturers have my contact details, so if you want me for anything, feel free to get in touch. I'm also very active on Twitter as well, so you can also get in touch with me on there. It's at Physio Sam McIver. So yeah, feel free to get in touch. and thank you for listening. I hope that wasn't too boring. But yeah, I hope that's given you a few words of advice, and I hope my rambling, like I say, wasn't too boring. So yeah, I hope to see some of you guys soon, and I hope you guys take care of yourself. See you soon. Bye.